Yes, we're live. Excellent. Welcome. Good afternoon. Good morning. It was morning about three minutes ago. Now it's the afternoon. So good afternoon here from the UK. I'm currently sat here in London with you guys. It's a bright sun, super duper sunny day outside. My daughter's in the paddling pool in the garden. My partner's outside having a cup of coffee, and I'm in here in my little man cave with my cup of coffee, saying hello to all of you guys. Yeah, so this is another one of our weekly workshops starting at 12 p.m. British Summer Time. We'll be doing this every single Friday, and this one is our workshop titled How to Find the Best Actors for Your Film Projects. I'm James Bradley, Liftoff Global Network co-founder. If I haven't met you before, it's lovely to meet you. Powell Films is currently in the chat room there. We also have Claire Richardson and Natalie Daniels. Big shout out to you guys. It's great to have such a bustling community. This week's been really fun on the Liftoff Global Network members page. We've had lots of people coming in that have been on the Production Accelerator, that have been posting their updates. We've had lots of people coming through with people sharing their work. It's really great to see so many people giving feedback to other people's work and kind of like joining in with the conversation. It's been great. If you're not a Liftoff member, you're not a part of the network members platform itself, there will be details about that at the end of this live stream. We're due to run between sort of 45 to possibly an hour, depending upon how long we get through and how long I rant. This is a subject that's extremely close to my heart. It's something that we've taken. Oh, hey, Lauren. Good to see Lauren in the chat room as well. Big shout out to Lauren. Lovely to see you there, Lauren Tiffany. Yeah, the subject, it's a really strong subject to my heart. I started off with the other Liftoff co-founder, Ben Polman. We started both as actors many years ago. We graduated from the Oxford School of Drama on the 3-year course doing professional acting. I worked in London for 4 years as a professional actor, so did Ben. I had 3 different agents during that time and kind of progressed through theatre into film and then actually into filmmaking. And then from filmmaking went into the film festival business. And I would say probably 14 years, maybe 15 years later, I'm sat here as the co-founder of the Liftoff Global Network. No longer an actor, although I do dust off my acting bones from time to time. So there have been moments where we have done some acting. Mainly background work, just to kind of keep abreast of what's going on within the film industry at the blockbuster level. Certainly, one of the benefits of being based at Pinewood Studios. But primarily now we're mainly focused on film festivals. But we do love to get the inside scoop from the actors that have been involved in the film projects that we've screened at our festivals, as well as the process that we've experienced, or our directors, our filmmakers have experienced, getting their films off the ground and getting into official selections at Liftoff film festivals. One of the most amazing things is that we get stories from all over the world, from different filmmakers, from all different types of genres, different types of films, from documentaries to drama to all sorts of different types of films. And we've always got so many filmmaker stories that we can build together and actually get filmmakers doing different things. So and kind of sharing their experiences. So I've kind of tried to put all that into one particular nugget for today's workshop that we're streaming live, and kind of like express some of the experiences that I've had as a filmmaker and an actor, and some of the experiences that lots of our other Liftoff filmmakers have had experiences of as well when they've been out getting actors to work on their films. How to find the best actors for your film projects. Now, the best is something that is obviously arbitrary. You don't necessarily know what my interpretation might be of the best actor might be very different to yours. So it's very good to bear in mind that this is just based on opinion initially. There are obviously different people have different parameters for how they source their actors, and different parameters for how they level their actors, how they score their actors in terms of performances. But it's very important that that you would recognise some of the best practices that happen at the professional level, so you can use those yourselves in acquiring actors, the best possible actors for the film projects that you'll be producing as well. I know that we're all in different territories around the world. I know that some of us are in London, some of us are in New York, some of us are in Los Angeles, some of us are in India. Some of us are in different places all over the world, and things work very differently in different places. But this presentation has tried to kind of get down to the core elements of the best practices that I think you guys will find very, very valuable, if not valuable, but informative. So without further ado, let's start. Let's get ourselves going through this. So first and foremost, let me get my little pointer set up on here. So I go here, click pointer. Here we go. Here's my little pointer. And we'll click forward. So here we go. Like everything in the process of success within this particular section of the indie film marketplace, starting as early as possible is key. So it's really important to make sure that when you're out trying to get the best possible actors for your projects, to start as quickly as possible. Start as early as possible into the process, even at the point of when you're concepting the work. Actors love to be told that a part was written for them. Actors love to be involved in the writing aspects of the work. Especially if you get someone that's a named actor and they're working against type, they're doing something that they've never done before, for example, which we'll get onto a little bit later. But having them involved at the very beginning of the process, letting them make decisions on their dialogue, on their character's dialogue, and their character's progression within your concept is really fundamental to having their enthusiasm, to having their total commitment from the beginning. And actors are constantly in flux. Sometimes they're having really, really great weeks, sometimes they're having really bad weeks. But if you can get them involved at the very beginning of a project, they'll feel a sense of ownership surrounding it. And actors are artists at the end of the day, and they want to have, I mean, it's a fundamental point. They want to have as much decision making as possible that they can have within the process. Bringing an actor in at a really early stage is really important. Sometimes you can't, and that's totally fine. And we'll talk about auditioning and talk about different things like that later on. But it is key to getting actors involved as quickly as possible. They will help. They can help as producers. They can help as getting other actors that they trust, that they value onto the project. You can really help with getting an actor in early by getting other people involved. They may have worked with other producers before. They may have worked with really good cinematographers before. They may know particular people that will give your project that gravitas, that push to take it up another level. Because there are several levels that you can go through as a filmmaker, and people are key. Oh, hi, Nicola. We've got an actor in the audience. That's great. Interesting topic to talk about. Absolutely, Nicola. Yeah, well, we love actors, and this is all about getting the best possible actors for the projects. And Nicola, maybe you would agree, starting early, getting an actor involved as early as possible and getting their input as quickly as possible is really fundamental to making sure that the actor's enthusiasm is locked in for that project. It's great to have a sense of ownership. Okay, let's move forward. So we will discuss the three possible options available. So we currently have getting a great actor. So this is something that's like how to kind of get a great actor. So an actor that's really good at acting, okay? Getting a star who is a great actor. Now this is another point. A lot of filmmakers, especially in this industry, get a little bit locked onto the point that they need a star in their film. You may or may not require one. You may feel that because it's a short film, it stands a very, 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 very small chance of getting any theatrical distribution whatsoever, or getting any distribution at all in any sort of sense of the word, of like VOD platforms and things like that, and getting a return on it. Getting a star into your work may not help that. It might sort of, but it's very rare that a short film with a star actor in will go on and do well just because the star actor's in it. Yes, of course, it gives the film a certain aspect of gravitas. It gives the film a certain aspect of promotional pace, I guess. You may get a lot more social media followers. You may get that particular actor's fan base supporting your film. But ultimately, it's not going to give you a return if it's a short film. If it's a feature film, definitely. And the rules are very different when you're creating feature content with getting a star actor in there. But the majority of the filmmakers that we encounter are making shorts at this stage, and they're looking to get star actors in. And it's important to make sure that you understand what that star actor will actually give to the process. And it's always important to make sure that you're not just getting a star that's a star, you're getting a star that is also a great actor. don't let the two things get combined. There are star actors out there that aren't good actors. We all know them, and we all have our own opinions. It's very important to know that. Okay, so getting the best out of what you've currently got. You could be based in the middle of nowhere. You could be in the Outer Hebrides on the Isle of Skye, and you could be a filmmaker up there, and there could be potentially 3 or 4 people that you could use as actors that say that they want to be actors. It's tough in that situation, but getting the best that you possibly can out of those individuals that have an enthusiasm for being actors is also a great skill to have as a filmmaker. And it starts, again, at the earliest conceptive position. You can really remove nerves by giving an actor the ability to create their own dialogue. You can really remove nerves by getting an actor to understand the entire process of film creation and to get on board with the project. So when you say action, they don't feel the whole world on their shoulders. They actually feel like they are doing something to bring this project to life, that they have a responsibility to make sure it happens. And when an actor, or when any performer, presenter, presentation piece, anything like that, when the golden thread is always what's the most important point in this. And the most important point is the project. It's not you, the filmmaker. It's not them, the actor, or their performance. It's not the cinematographer and their beautiful shot. The project is the most important entity in every single aspect. And making sure that that is the thing that's served, weirdly and amazingly enough, the nerves are removed from the set. So getting the best out of what you've currently got is also a challenge that we'll be talking about today. So the bad news, first of all, everyone thinks they can act. Nicola, I'm sure you will absolutely agree with this. There's so many people that say I'm an actor because I'm arrogant or something along those lines. I love the fact that I can be on screen, or I've saw myself on a film once, or I saw myself being caught on camera and I think I've got a good jawline, or whatever it is. I mean, we hear it all the time, especially from Uber drivers when we're driving around Pinewood and also in Los Angeles and stuff. It feels like everyone thinks they're an actor. I think it's important to recognize that acting is something that takes years of practice to craft. Even today, professional actors still take classes beyond their training to stay sharp and focused to the process. It's a really important point. Even today, professional actors that have trained for 3 years, and have gotten out there and gotten agents and gotten work, are still training to stay sharp and focused. So your mate Bill, that works down the road as a chippy, just because he's got big muscles and a nice jawline doesn't mean that he's a professional actor or he's going to do well in your film. So many times the Liftoff Global Network receives films from people, and sometimes it's totally great and it works, but that's rare. So many times we get films from filmmakers who have their best friends in their films, and those friends, doing as best as they possibly can, are not living the life of the character. They're not embodying the dramatic moments and the dramatic beats. They do not understand the impulses that occur when you're made to stand on a point, but yet you still have to make it look like it's the most natural thing you've ever done. There are ways to achieving this. There are things like Stanislavski and Jutta Hagen and the Chekhov process, animal studies. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And these are things that you will learn as a professional actor. And by not respecting that process as a filmmaker and just bringing in your friends as actors, you're ultimately disservicing your project. You're not giving your project the best possible chance for success. And that's the problem. That's a real problem in this industry. At this level in the industry, there are too many filmmakers making their friends who think they're actors. It's wrong. It shouldn't happen. Respect the process. Respect professional actors. They will work on your projects for nothing. Professional actors will do it if you pitch it to them right, if you get them in early, if you get them involved in the project, if they feel like they have a genuine input into the creative process. You can get great actors to work for not very much. But also remember, if you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. That's another thing as well. So if you are spending 20 grand on a camera for your project, maybe spend 10 and hire one, and actually spend the other 10 grand or 5 grand on getting yourself a couple of great actors involved. I mean, if it's just a 4-day shoot, a 5-day shoot, you can afford to give them £100 per day. If you can't afford to pay your actors, maybe you shouldn't be making films. That's a really important point. Of course, there are actors out there that will work for nothing, and of course, we've all done it. I've done it. Several people have done it. It's important to make sure that you do that. That you can be resourceful with your cast and crew, but without having an intention to pay, you're really leveling it out and you're making it very difficult for yourself. That's just part of the process. Okay, you buy the best paint, you buy the best canvas, and you invest as much time as you possibly can. You may not necessarily sell your painting, but you are buying your equipment. And it's important to buy your actors. It's so important, and I can't stress it enough. And like I say, if you can't afford to get professional actors, then maybe you shouldn't be making films. And I say afford, I mean if your project can't afford it. It's very important. And there are ways to get funding, and we'll talk about that in another workshop. There's ways to get producers, and we already have one of those videos up online. You can check it out in our channel description below, how to find a producer for your film projects. It's there. Check it out. Just a very important point. Do not allow an individual's arrogance to fool you into thinking that they will be great on screen. Yeah, I mean, that says it all, right? This sounds very negative, but it's a problem that keeps existing. There are so many people out there that think that they're actors, and ultimately they will not serve your project. The project is the most important thing, not them, not you, and not the idea of being a filmmaker or the idea of being an actor. The project is the number one thing. So do not disservice the project by bringing in an individual who has no acting experience. There are several actors out there without jobs that deserve to work for you. 90% of the time, they will choke. Yeah, they will. They'll choke. You'll get them on set. You'll think you've got the whole process down. You've done the whole thing. Everything's there. But because they're not professional, because they've not done it before, all these people around them with the camera set up and everything, you being like, action, they will absolutely brick it. They will choke. And you'll see it time and time again if you keep going through that process of bringing in actors that don't have any professional training or any professional experience behind them. So give the profession the respect it deserves and hire people who have trained or have at least proved themselves with genuinely good performances elsewhere. So really important point, have proved themselves with genuinely good performances elsewhere. Okay, start with your concept. Okay, so look at the value your script could give to the actor. So this is really important. Look at the concept of your work and then look at the value your script could give to the actor. So you want to make sure that your script is actually giving your potential actor or actors an opportunity to be challenged. It's really important. If your script isn't challenging an actor, then your script isn't dramatic and it won't necessarily work. So this needs to be a challenge, whether it's an unspoken challenge, whether it's a spoken challenge, whether it's obstacles, whether it's objectives, whatever it is that's inside your concept that then builds into the script, you must make sure that there's something of value to an actor. Okay, the challenge, typecasting, leading role. Okay, actors, whether they're a star, whether they're a great actor that's currently jobbing and doing really well, but is looking at stuff to add to their show reel, they will be looking at the challenge. They will be looking at going against things that they've previously done. So if you're looking at an actor that always gets boxing roles as a boxer, doing lots of films about boxing, and you have a romantic part, they might be interested in that because they've been typecasted as a boxer before. So try to go against typecasting. And also leading roles. So there's so many leading roles that you guys will see out there that I say leading roles. There's so many supporting actors, star actors, actors that you've seen in TV shows, in theatre productions, in different things, and they may only have a few Twitter followers, a few thousand Twitter followers, something like that. But they're a name and they've got a good agent and they're jobbing actors, but they've never done a leading role before. Perhaps your script could provide them with that opportunity to show their agent, with that opportunity to show potential producers of big blockbuster films that they can play the next Batman, that they can play the next Iron Man, that they can do the next James Bond, whatever it is. But if your script is giving that actor an opportunity, they'll see that as an opportunity. Okay, very important. We've got a question coming in from Chica Photo. Hey Chica Photo, nice to see you. How you doing? Which qualities should I look for in an actor in order to secure someone who is reliable, down to earth, and committed to delivering a quality performance? Thanks. Okay, Chica. So yeah, great question. It's really important when you're auditioning at the audition stage to make sure that you connect with an actor. It's great to kind of have a cup of coffee with them, sit them down, go through the process of what you're trying to do. Try and get to know them. We'll talk a little bit more about the audition process in a second and how this actually works. This is a great question, Chica, because we do cover this, which I'm pleased, very pleased about. But yeah, it comes from getting to know the potential actors. It can be really difficult because you're obviously getting to know 3 actors for one part, for example, but you don't know. I mean, the audition process, I would go through a very strong, very hard audition process. We're slightly skipping ahead here, but it's such a good question. I would go through a very strong, very rigorous audition process, come up with, say, 3 or 4, maybe 5 names, and then take them all out for a coffee individually and just talk about them, just get them to talk about themselves. I mean, actors find that really easy. And just see if they're the type of person that you understand. Make sure, I mean, reliable, down to earth, and committed, delivering a quality performance. Those are 3 things that are so key. You're absolutely right, Chica Photo. That's bang on right. Those 3 things are absolutely key, because if you don't get someone that's reliable, you'll get an actor that doesn't turn up on time and the whole shoot is delayed. If you don't get someone that's down to earth, which I'm guessing means someone that you can actually speak to and you can say, look, I didn't like what you did there. I don't think that's working. Can we try something else? And instead of them throwing the flipping towel at you, they actually listen to you and take on your advice and respect your opinion. Very, very important. And committed to delivering a quality performance. Again, that goes hand in hand with the reliable thing, in my opinion. That can be sought through, you can test an actor in that regard by giving them research to do. Very, very important. And we'll touch on that in a second. But Chica Photo, wicked question. Thank you very much. Keep them coming, guys. I love this stuff. So here we go. Start the hunt. Okay. So try to keep a blank slate during the entire process. Okay. Keep your mind as open as possible, even to the point of changing age and gender of your leading roles where possible. So this is something to bear in mind prior to the hunt, where you've got your concept stage set up. So you never know, you might come across a female actor and you might be like, but he's male in the script, but she gets it. She understands the conflicts. She understands the setup. I don't have a place for a female in this script yet. If this has been started at the very beginning, then you will be free to change that round. If you find an actress that is absolutely on it, and there's a lot out there, there's some fantastically intelligent actresses out there that will bring nothing but sheer quality to your work. So it's very important to bear all of that in mind. You can switch it on a sixpence, like just twist it up, change the age, change the gender. You can. It's possible to do it. Don't be too married to that idea of keeping it set as set individuals, because you may meet someone on your journey, on your hunt, that totally takes you by surprise and really brings the goods and really brings the things that make you think, flippin' heck, if I put this person in the leading role, this project, the most important thing, is going to be better. So here we go, getting a star. Okay, how to get a star. So this is all based on people that have gotten stars before. Filmmakers like you at your stage that have managed to somehow bag a A-lister, okay? And I'm talking like big people here, big stars, okay? So agents, first of all, always focus on the agents. Try and get an agent to talk to you. Try and get an agent to have a meeting with you. Don't go in with the premise of I want this particular actor, Mr. or Mrs. Agent, can I have a meeting? Go in with an open set idea. Go in saying, I have a project I would like to discuss with you. That's all you have to say to the agent. You'll get an appointment if you do that. It's important to be open-minded, to be aware, and try and go in there. The agent's priority is to get their actors work, to get their clients work. But sometimes you may not have money, and it might be difficult to get those agents to get that actor to release some time in their schedule to do some work for free. Agents can be tricky because they're trying to get their clients paid work all the time. I remember one of my agents, not going to name names, got really upset with me because I did a short film for a university. I wanted to do it because I needed some work on my show reel. But during that process, there were a couple of auditions coming up that, had I got the audition, I wouldn't have been able to have done it because I was already committed to the film project. So the agent was quite annoyed, very pissed off actually, that I prioritized my show reel work for those other auditions. The auditions were for adverts, they were for commercial work. So my heart wasn't set on the commercial work, but they had buyouts of £10,000, £20,000, which is a lot of money, especially even back then. It was a hell of a lot of money. And my agent was like, well, you could potentially get that advert, and I would get the 20%. And that was their priority. So always remember what you're dealing with here. Agents want their clients to get paid work. They may see the long-term plan. They may have a long-term plan for certain actors. They may want to have the actor, like we were talking about earlier on, that's in a supporting role to actually get a leading role. That can happen. But this will come from going into the agent and actually meeting with them and discussing with them. There are so many agents all over the world that will meet with you and talk with you. But you have to have an open plan. You have to have an open slate and say, there's an idea that I have. I'd like to talk to you about a potential project. Okay. Now, agents, the smaller the agency, the better, first of all. So smaller the agency, the better. The reason is because there are lots of boutique agencies that have people signed to them. I think Kenneth Branagh is with a small agency. You can have a small agent, and that agent still be incredibly good for you as an actor. Smaller agencies are a lot easier to contact, a lot easier to get meetings with. We have had big meetings with big agents before. United Talent Group are a really big agency. We've had a meeting with them before at the Cannes Film Festival to talk about potential actors for the work that we were looking to produce at the time. There's been all sorts of different experiences with agents, but the smaller the agency, the more chance you'll get of actually getting an appointment with them and going to meet with them. And then you can talk about the actors that they have on their books. You may go in there with an idea of a couple of actors that you think would be great for your project. Don't name names at this stage. Just go in and meet with the agent, talk about the project, and see what their thoughts and feelings are about that particular project. During the meeting, you may want to say, we'd like to look at this actor, we'd like to look at that actor. But at this stage, it's very important to go in with an open mind and an open idea, and just a 15-minute meeting with this agent. It always turns into an hour because that's the way that agents are. But it's important to go in without too much of an agenda, without too much of an open agenda, and try to kind of go for the agents that will definitely see you. Offer options for smaller roles to the non-named. Yep, to the non-stars. So if you go into an actor's agency, you get a meeting with them, and that agent says, yeah, I've got Kenneth Branagh. He's never played a head chef before of a kitchen, and he knows that that Martin Scorsese is doing a film about steak restaurants in New York coming up next year. He wants to audition for that. He wants to be seen for that part. So I know that the timeline for you guys in getting this short film out is quite small. So he would really like to look at this role. Or not, he would really like to look at this role. There's a potential for you to get him that position in your script, right? So you say to the agent, you say, okay, we'd love to have Kenneth Branagh if that's possible. We don't have much money. But because you're an actor's agent, and because you do have assistants with other actors connected, maybe a bunch of drama school hopefuls that you signed at the last showcase for the major drama schools or something like that, we'd be willing to give you the sous chef, the waiters and waitresses, and a couple of other supporting characters in this script. We would give priority to other actors on your books, so giving them opportunities to get some footage for their show reel. And that's important. A lot of actors a lot of actors come out of drama school with no showreel footage whatsoever, or if they do, it's like appalling. Ours was not great, and that's no fault of the drama school. That's just the fault of the fact that there's no time. That whole thing is just so condensed, you can't get any time in there. So it's really good, and this does definitely work. Saying to an agent, look, we know you've got a bunch of actors that need some more experience. How about we get Kenneth Branagh for the leading role, and then we fill all the other minor roles with all the rest of your drama school actors? Or we give them first option, because they might be rubbish. You never know. They might be wrong for the parts. But it's important to have this, again, open agenda with a slightly closed agenda in your mind that you're not telling them about. Okay. Offer the agent the opportunity to co-produce, credit or direct involvement. Yep, so important as well. The agent, that specific agent, Kenneth Branagh's agent, could become a producer on your work. You could say to them, look, we'd like you to kind of like be involved in the project if that's okay. We'd love you to have a look at the script. Give us your thoughts. You may find that the agent becomes a bit of a nightmare and gives Kenneth Branagh like only 3 scenes, and then gives his or her leading up and coming superstar that they think in their mind is like super duper going to be awesome, might give them like the majority of the scenes, and then they become the leading actor. That could potentially happen. But it's worth having a conversation about, because this agent will have access to other producers, will have access to potential funds, will have access to other actors, obviously, like we talked about in the second point. It's an interesting point. You can say, especially if the agent is excited about the project and likes the sound of the project and the potential growth for that project, it could be a short film that later becomes a feature. And if that's something that the agent wants to get involved with, that's great. Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet started off as a short film on a rooftop. This stuff happens. So bear that in mind, okay? Acting agents, not casting agents, acting agents can really help in this development, okay? So theatre bars, 3 degrees of separation and Twitter. So this is another area of places where you can find star actors. It's slightly stalkery, but it's important to mention this, because these are places where I've certainly come across big celebrities. Had a really wonderful, I'm not going to name drop, had a really wonderful conversation with an Oscar-winning actor in a theatre bar. Ended up going to a private members club afterwards, had a really lovely dinner with them and the rest of their team, and just had a really great experience hanging out with them. Had I had a concept for a film at the time, I totally would have pitched to them, especially after a few glasses of champagne in, but I couldn't. But it's great, and they're accessible. Theatres all over London. You go to watch a theatre show off the West End, somewhere like the Royal Court, for example. This was at the Royal Court where it happened. Somewhere like the Royal Court, somewhere like the National Theatre, somewhere like where else is off the thing? The Soho Theatre in London. There's countless of examples in New York as well. Theatre bars are great for meeting actors. You can have a list of actors that you think, oh, I'll speak to that person, I want to see that person or whatever. Have a look first at what's going on in your local capital city, in your local theatre city, and find out who's running what and where they're doing different things, and see if you can find some actors and speak to them about your concepts. Obviously, you go in with the best possible intentions of just being nice. You just want a quick no or an excited yes, or a potentially excited maybe. And if you get the actor involved at the early stages and you get them really excited about it, and if it's something that's of value to them and you know that it will be of value to them because you've researched their background, you've seen the things that they've done so far, and you think that they would actually love to do something like your work, then it's a very brief conversation, and you just give them a brief conversation. You calm it down, you don't speak too fast, you're not too abrasive, you don't spill your drink on them, you just have a nice conversation with them. It definitely works. It can work, and it's important. The 3 degrees of separation rule. Believe it or not, this is true. There was a social media platform a few years ago called Friendster. I don't know if any of you guys remember it. Friendster. It was all one word. Very big in the East Coast. I remember at the time. I was working in New York at a PR agency back in 2005, and this was a social media network that was trying to kind of rival MySpace, and it was before Facebook, and it told you how many degrees of separation you were from each person, and you could look up people that were on Friendster and see how many degrees of separation you were, and it never went above 3. It was really crazy. So you can send to people like, hey you, hey that person, this person. You can talk to those people and find out people that might know people. So you can say like do a post on Facebook, do a post on Twitter. I'm looking to find great actors for this particular role. Does anybody know anyone that's of particular notoriety that might be interested in this particular concept? You never know. You never know what might happen. And then the last point is Twitter. Lots of actors, especially up and coming actors, are trying to increase their brand, trying to increase their fan base, so they will be on Twitter. Go on Twitter. I've seen it so many times. I've tweeted to filmmakers and said, I really loved, not filmmakers, I've tweeted to filmmakers and to actors actually saying, I really loved your performance in this particular TV series, this particular film. Would you be interested in having a look at my concept, or would you, whatever? You can totally do that. And they might see it, they might retweet it, they might message you or come back to you. You never know. You never know. Twitter's a crazy place, but it has happened before. That's normally where a lot of the liftoff filmmaker conversations with star names have actually happened. A couple of Q&As we did a few years ago, we said, oh, how did you get that person? And they're like, I just sent them a tweet, and they were really interested. We had a Brazilian filmmaker a few years ago who got Yoko Ono to tweet about his film, and his film ended up becoming like, it was at Tokyo Liftoff Film Festival in Shibuya in May. God, this year we're not going to be able to do it actually in Tokyo. We're going to be running an online festival extravaganza to support the Tokyo Liftoff Film Festival. But it was a few years ago, and they brought hundreds of people. That tweet that was retweeted by Yoko Ono went viral. It was great, and we ended up with loads and loads of people attend our festival, and the filmmaker was absolutely chuffed. So yeah, Twitter definitely does work. So Chica's got another question. So do you recommend starting an acting troupe ensemble who I can work with regularly, like Seth Rogen, Ricky Gervais, and Shonda Rhimes? Yep, seems to do. If so, any tips on managing personalities? Thanks. Yeah, I mean, I definitely recommend starting an acting troupe, but it's not. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do the acting troupe. What's the word? I wouldn't let the troupe be something that you decided to do. I feel like it needs to be something that happens organically through creative connection and personality connection. You say there tips on managing personalities. The more work that you do with the people that you trust from the previous work that you've done, the closer you are to creating an actor's troupe like the Seth Rogen, Ricky Gervais stuff. Ricky Gervais's acting troupe is him and Stephen Merchant, and they've worked together since the very beginning. They were both on radio together. They've done all sorts of stuff. They're best mates. Seth Rogen, his stuff very much from NYU. So from university, they kind of did stuff from there, and they built their model from there. I know for a fact that Will Ferrell and Danny McBride actually met when Will Ferrell went to Sundance, and Danny McBride's breakthrough movie, The Foot Fist Way, which is excellent, by the way. Excellent comedy. Really good film about Taekwondo. He's a Taekwondo ex-Vietnam vet, Taekwondo instructor. And he gets like kids to fight each other in like theaters of death. And it's all a joke, but it's so funny. Will Ferrell saw his work at Sundance, and that's how they got together and started working. I think it's really important to act for filmmakers and for actors to go to as many film festivals as possible. We'll get onto that later, but as soon as you see work that you think, oh my goodness, that's the kind of stuff I want to be working on and doing, and it's just like the kind of stuff that I've got in my back catalogue, and this is it. These are the people that I need to be with. You go to them and you offer your services, and then you will create organically, and that's the best possible way you can create anything like this. Any creative team, the best ones are always created organically. So just keep working, keep creating concepts, keep sending things out there, keep going to theatre bars, keep going out and sending your work out, keep going to film festivals that you're not actually in, and find these people. Just it's not networking really, it's more like trying to find people that you're creatively connecting with, and then the conversations are so much easier. The personality management doesn't even have to happen because you're creatively connected. It's a really important point, something that we really believe in and we see time and time again, not just in Hollywood but also on the festival circuit as well. Really important. Great question again, Chica, thank you. So getting a star actor can be great for helping to build hype and get attention for your projects, including the prospect of distribution, but it does have its potential negative pitfalls. In many situations, stars, big name actors, have failed to promote the films they represent after the film has been released. This happens all the time, unfortunately. They have been known to disrupt projects, sometimes taking them over completely. That has happened a lot of the time. And undermining the director on set has been commonplace. Um, really important, really important to bear this in mind. Star actors are way more experienced than you are. They're way more determined, maybe. I don't know what that word might be, but they're definitely um, they're definitely engines in their own right, individual engines in their own right. They will come to your concepts and your projects with their own ideas, and it all depends on where you get them in at the process. If you don't get them in at the very beginning, at the very earliest point, you do run the risk of them coming in and just taking over straight away. A great example I'm going to show you in a second where this is actually discussed. There's other examples from the Liftoff Global Network that we'll look at now. In many situations, stars, big name actors have failed to promote the films they represent after the film has been released. Yet we talked about it already. Here's a few examples from the Liftoff Network. Okay, so here's some examples from Liftoff that we've seen filmmakers discuss with us about. So this filmmaker came to me at the Season Awards 2 or 3 years ago, and I specifically asked them, how was that person as an actor on set? And this was paraphrasing, but this is what they said. We had him on the shoot for 4 days. He was excellent, turning up on time, sharing stories with the rest of the cast and crew. He was really professional and very experienced. Sometimes he'd make suggestions about certain shots and scenes. It was like having a second director on set. Okay, good to bear in mind if you can handle that kind of input. But it wasn't until after the shoot that we had problems. Once the film was released, I asked him in an email if he would retweet some of the promotional tweets that we were sending out in support of our festival run. We never got a single retweet, and he never replied to any of mine or my producer's emails again. I shared this story at the Liftoff Festival with another director who also had a star name in their film, and to my astonishment, they literally had an identical story to ours. Yep. So that's something to bear in mind. I'm not saying this always happens, but I've heard this story so many times. So here's a quote from Entertainment Weekly Radio in an interview with Robert Downey Jr. via the Guardian website. So this is important. There's a link in the description for this actual interview where you'll be able to check it out. So this is the interview here. Robert Downey Jr. Independent movies are exhausting and sometimes suck. So this is a good perspective lesson, okay? So in this article, he's quoted as saying, "Oh, by the way, man, when you go to Sundance, it's like, can we just sit you in a chair and you can sell this for like 6 days in a row so that we'll make $180 when it opens in one theater? In one theater? God, this is so powerful what we're doing. What do you think of the movie? You saw it last night, right?" And he replies, "I thought it was mediocre." "Yeah, isn't it the greatest? Man, everyone's an artist here." The filmmaker's referring to Sundance. "Actually, most of you are kind of inexperienced and lame." And that was Robert Downey Jr.'s reply to the filmmaker saying that. And this is from an interview with Entertainment Weekly Radio via the Guardian website. The link is in the description below. Just gives you an idea of the kind of attitude that some big name actors might have on your set. You may think that you're extremely experienced, but they have been treated like royalty. On sets, they have had the best catering, they've had the best possible experiences, they've worked with some of the best directors and some of the best actors as well. So there can be potential pitfalls where an actor will turn up and be like, "You're joking, we only get crisps for lunch." There could be anything. You could potentially be dealing with a nightmare. And it's important to point this out, and it's important to know that Robert Downey Jr., this isn't necessarily, I don't dislike him for saying this. In fact, I quite respect the honesty, because it does give an awful lot of perspective into how actors could potentially be on sets of independent movies. Exhausting and sometimes suck. It's important to recognize this. So getting a great actor who isn't necessarily a star. Okay, so getting a great actor who isn't necessarily a star, very important. Professional, global as well, but they're trained or union members only will be on Spotlight and Backstage and casting networks, okay? Non-professional, so anyone can join, is Casting Call Pro and the likes of Star Now. I'm not sure about the American websites, but it's very it's very important to remember that Casting Call Pro, which is also Mandy.com, you don't have to be a union member or professionally trained to list on there. You just have to pay them. That's it. Places like Spotlight and other backstages they're really important to make to they fish out the actors that aren't professionally trained or aren't union members, and the majority of the ones, especially on Spotlight in the UK, this one here, they have agents as well. So very important to remember that. Yeah, become your own casting director and get good at it. This is vital. I know I say this every week when we're doing these workshops, but if you're not spinning a million hats on sticks like this as a filmmaker at this level, then you're not doing it right. You need to be the best possible casting director you can be, and you need to be really good at it. There are casting directors out there that may be able to help you, but it's your project. You have the vision, you have the imagination, you know what's happened, you've concepted the idea. You're the best possible person to bring in the best possible people for auditions. You just have to have a motivated enthusiasm to make sure that you can get the best possible actors for this work. The project is number one. Your time is irrelevant. Your stress levels are irrelevant. The project, if you want the project to succeed, the project needs to be the most important thing. So get good at casting, okay? Hunt locally. So look for local actors. Find out where they are. Find out if there are any acting troupes around you, any drama societies, anything like that at all. Find good actors locally. Attend festivals. Go to film festivals with a notepad and pen. Watch actors' performances and then write to them. These actors aren't stars, right? So if you send them some flipping fan mail, they're going to meet you for a coffee and they're going to look at your concept and they're going to look at your script. They will. They absolutely will. Drama societies. Yep, already touched on that. And watch genuine, true indie film content online. That's not watching Tiger King on Netflix. That's not watching, great documentary by the way. That's not watching Fox Searchlight Productions or A24 Productions, or films that have been made by French production companies that you've kind of heard of but not quite heard of. Genuine true indie film content is work that's been released by the filmmaker that hasn't necessarily gone through a production company, that's just from them. Places like Vimeo on Demand, and we've got an online festival running at the moment that you should definitely check out. Loads of great acting in that as well. And you can see, like, if you're based in Turkey, you can find the Turkish films in that program, of which there are a few, and you'll be able to look and you'll be like, okay, oh, who are these actors? Oh, they're based in Istanbul, they're based in Ankara, they're based wherever. Great, I'll write to them and see if they want to be interested in concepting this film idea with me. You never know. You never know. You just got to consume the content before you can make the connection, okay? You've got to consume the content before you make the connection. Okay, attend plays, scratch nights, and local events. Yeah, attend plays. Attend scratch nights where actors get together and work on a particular devised thing. These are great. They're great because you get to see actors performing in work that they're really comfortable to do, and that's a very great way of meeting actors. And local events, village fetes, local charity events, anything like that. Just get involved in your local community and you'll find that there'll be some form of theatre there. There always is. Touring companies, maybe companies have toured, maybe things have done different things like that. It's all great to kind of like see who's doing what and how they're doing it. It's really cool to kind of get involved in the local community anyway. And if everyone knows you're a filmmaker, that 3 degrees of separation will come in handy. Oh, my cousin's boyfriend is Kenneth Branagh. He'd love to look at this script that you're currently devising with this acting troupe. Shall we bring him in and see if he wants to give you guys some notes? And then before you know it, he's the leading actor in your flipping film. So always aim to see your targets acting before you invite them to audition. So always try to see your targeted actors, always try and see them actually acting first. You can't see your mate Bill, the chippy that lives down the street, acting in something if he hasn't acted in anything before. He shouldn't be in your film. You're a serious filmmaker with enthusiasm and an inspired belief that you're going to make it one day in your own parameters for success. So it's important to not use amateurs. Try your hardest to get actors that you've seen before and get them and invite them to audition. Actually get to see your work being performed by them. Audition, audition, audition. Yep, very important. Don't be lazy. The audition process can be long, it can be hard, it can be tough, especially for those that are actually doing the auditioning, that are sat there watching actor after actor after actor come in. It can be really laborious, it can be really tough. But if you audition with a very clear strategy, you will get the best possible actors coming in. Okay, so research the actors first. Very, very obvious, very important. Get the actors to bring in research. Something that we hit on a few weeks ago when we talked about getting the best possible performances from your actors. And this is something that we'll either put up again or we'll do another workshop on. Getting actors to bring in research is really important. Getting them to come in with ideas for the world that you've created, the time, the place, the dramatic content. Get the actor to come to an audition with something besides a read through. So something like, oh, and I did some research in this. The actors that don't, but got a clear brief to do it, you'll know, Chica Photo, you'll know that they won't necessarily have that reliability or that commitment to delivering a quality performance. If they're not coming in with research, if they're not going above and beyond to get involved in your project, they probably don't care about it. Very important. So challenge each actor as well by redirecting them mid-audition. So get them to read through the thing that you prepared them to do, and then give them a completely different note. Give them something that they've never done before. Say to them, okay, now I'd like you to try this as if your mother's actually alive still, but it's your dad that's dead, and I want you to kind of show this in your performance, but don't say anything, and just see what they do. See how they approach it. If they struggle, then you'll know that they might not necessarily be the right actor for you. Don't give them something that's completely impossible to do, but try to challenge them, because actors should be able to meet that mark, especially if the actors that you want in your film. You want good actors, so challenge them and see if they can come up with the goods. Always film it, absolutely, and always have at least 2 other people present who the actor does not know. So it's important because you want to kind of create a false sense of the set. So you've got at least 2 other people that are there that are also helping you and giving you their perspectives as well. They don't necessarily need to be involved in the project. They need to have read your script and read your concept though. They need to know what the project is, but it's important that the actor that's coming in doesn't know those 2 people. You may have met the actor before, you may have gone to see them, may have met them in a theatre bar, you may have seen them at a festival, whatever it is, that's fine. You might already have a rapport with that actor, so the actor will come in quite calm and reserved and chilled. Will come in quite chilled. But if there are 2 people that they've never met before, you get to see a performance, because the actor knows that they have to win over those people that they've never met before. They know that. Actors are smart. They'll know that those 2 people are the people that they need to win over. And then you'll see them under pressure. You'll see that actor under pressure, and that's a synthetic idea of an actual production. You'll see the production itself play out, and you'll be able to, because you're filming it, you'll be able to see the actor and how they actually bring and what they'll bring to the plate. It's very important to get that labeled in as quickly as possible, so you know that the actor can actually perform when you say action and the lights are there, the lighting people are all there, everyone's around, the boom's underneath their chin, they've got mic'd up, they've got a big thing on their pocket, that everything's set up. When you say action, if they can hold it together, then that's good. And it's a nice indication to have that by having strangers in the room during their audition process. Always try to give positive feedback, but give a little bit of negative feedback as well. So Chica, this comes in from your question that you just asked. Positive feedback definitely, but give a little bit of negative feedback as well. Tell them where they went wrong and see how they respond. If they didn't go wrong and you loved everything that they did, then they've got the part, right? Great. Tell them on the spot. Tell them they've got the part. That's wonderful. But, tell them they've got the part is a good thing. It is. As an actor, it's great to know. It's awful waiting for it to come through. But it does make sense to make sure that you can see how they respond to negative feedback. Can I work with this person? Is this person going to be able to respond to me? Certain people respond to certain people in various different ways. What you might get out of someone might be something completely different that somebody gets out of somebody else. It's all down to to person management and how you deal with them. It's very important to get yourself kind of like understanding that person's headspace is in regards to receiving feedback and getting notes. Very important. You'll also see that when you challenge them, and you'll also see it when you give them a redirection. So always try to get to know as much of the actor's interests and their genuine feelings towards your project. So ask them a few questions about themselves. Ask them how they feel about things. It's really important to get to know an actor's process. Understand how they prepare for a project, what their interests are, and their genuine feelings towards your project. Ask them some very telling questions. Tell them that you're not sure about something and you want to know what their thoughts are on this. Tell them you're not sure on the dialogue and you'd like to know what they think about the dialogue. Even if you're in love with the dialogue, just see what the actor says and find out whether or not that person is right for your project and right for you to manage. Very important. So become more responsible with your enthusiasm for gaining knowledge to better equip your output as an artist. Very important. Become more responsible with your enthusiasm for gaining knowledge to better equip your output as an artist. The filmmakers that rise from the dust are always those that do as much as they can to better understand their audiences. So this is a point that we had from the audience position to begin with, which was how to understand audiences, or not how to understand audiences, how to find the best possible audiences for your film projects. Check it out. It's in our list of films below. Very, very good. Very, very important to know what your audiences want from an actor. And the way to do that is to watch audiences responding to the film work that you're creating as well. Attend more film festivals. Of course, we're going to say that we're a film festival. We're a film festival network, and we're a film platform, and we're a jobs dashboard, and we are a film market representative, and we're a production representative, and we're a million different things. But one thing that we are at our core is we're a film festival, and not enough filmmakers attend film festivals. Filmmakers, they only attend festivals, they get into them. That's awful. That's shockingly bad. Attend film festivals that you don't get into. Then you'll know whether or not you'll be able to get into it or not. And you'll be able to meet actors, and you'll be able to meet other filmmakers, and you'll be able to meet potential cast and potential crew. You'll build your troupe if you go to more things that screen the kind of work that you're creating. So go to more film festivals, and obviously watch online ones as well. We've got one right now. Link in the description below. The Liftoff Showcase Online Extravaganza, our online festival screening various categories of projects by people in similar positions to you. So check it out. Link in the description below. The Liftoff Showcase Online Extravaganza, bringing 4 showcases together from Film Freeway: the First Time Filmmaker Showcase, the Short Film Filmmaker Showcase, the Documentary Film Filmmaker Showcase, and the Cinematographer Showcase. So go and have a look. If you're looking for a cinematographer, get in there. If you're looking for an actor, get in there. If you're looking for inspiration, get in there. Okay? Very important. Exclusively on Vimeo On Demand. So you can watch it on your TV if you want, especially if you're currently chilling out at home. So create a mission plan. Here we go. We always talk about this stuff. It's really important. So after COVID-19, yeah. So when you finally get out of your self-confinements, search for the local film festival screenings in your area and attend them. Yep. Volunteer some of your time to help others in their projects. Very, very important. Engage with filmmakers whose work you find similar to your own. That's how you build that troupe. Okay? Engage with filmmakers whose work you find on the next run-up from yours. So always look to the next run-up from yours. Look at people that are making content that you want to be making in 5 years' time, or 2 years' time, or 1 year's time, or 6 months from now. And engage with those filmmakers. Talk to them. Meet with them. Help them out with the sound. Help them out with their editing. Help them out with the lighting. Whatever it is you can do to help those filmmakers achieve what they want to achieve, they'll help you. Okay? The harder you work, the luckier you'll be. The more you give, the more you get. Engage with filmmakers whose work you find inspiring. Absolutely. Definitely do that. Discover true indie film content online. Pay for it and share it. Let's build an industry. Let's do it. Keep working on the ideas that you're creating and build a stable, and sustainable and reliable creativity engine. And remember, you are not one film. Okay? You might be part of the Liftoff Global Network at the moment with one short, and that short might be your baby. But remember, once your festival period is finished with that short film, it's going to go into your catalogue, your back catalogue. Great. But you've got to always start thinking of what's next. How can you challenge yourself again? Where can you learn in the next step? What can you do next that's going to really push you? So always build. always look to build a reliable creativity engine. So something that constantly helps you out. Reliability. A reliable creativity engine isn't going from a £10,000 short film to a £1 million feature. A reliable creativity engine is to do 5 £10,000 short films and then do a 20,000 short film and then a 40,000 short film and then maybe a feature later on. So whatever's reliable creativity to you, whatever enables you to constantly create, you stick within those parameters and you get better. That's the key, okay? It's what filmmakers do all the time on our platform. We see it all the time and they're just doing this, flying up all the way. So send your concepts to Liftoff and we'll take them to Cannes to road test. So the Cannes Film Festival will be happening in the summer. Once all this is out the way, I'm sure we'll be doing it in our masks. But during the period where Cannes will be happening, we'll actually be having telephone conversations and Zoom meetings with many of the sales agents and the producers that we were going to have meetings with. So we want concepts from you. So if you've got film concepts, send them to us. If you're a professional member or an intermediate member, send us your film concepts today, okay? We want them. So following last year's success, we are again heading to Cannes to represent the projects of our professional network members to bring them to the next step in their career. We will be meeting with over 50 sales agents, producers and VOD platforms such as Amazon and Netflix. A big part of our membership entitles you to use this market service every year free of charge. All it costs is your professional network membership, which gives you lots and lots of different things. It's really good. And yes, back to the online extravaganza. Final update today at 8 p.m. So today at 8 p.m, Claire Richardson will be streaming live the final competition update, giving us a rundown of the top 10 voted films so far. And set your reminder, go there, just click the link in the description below and you'll be able to go to this actual competition update. You'll be able to click set reminder and you'll be able to watch Claire talk about the films that are currently in the lead with the highest votes. And that will be running all the way through to Sunday night. So definitely get involved with that. Check it out. It's great. There's some absolute corkers in there. Some really good films. Yeah, are you a filmmaker looking to launch your career? So the professional membership, here we go. So professional membership, $189 a year, free submissions, career road mapping. You can join us in the audience when we're finally out of this nonsense. There's a jobs dashboard, there's film market representation at all of the major film markets. And we can really, really, really help you guys further your career with that. So to find out more, just head to liftoff.network/membership for more information. We also have production launch workshops, which are free. They're via our website. You just go to www.liftoff.network and you can just sign up and you get these videos through to you. They're made by Ben Pullman, the other Liftoff co-founder. Really good if you're looking to kind of build your production arsenal and get yourself up there and actually distributed into the indie film marketplace. Really, I mean, they're excellent. You should definitely check them out, and they're free, so do it. Finn, thank you very much. So just wondering, we've got a pretty vibrant chat room today. I was just wondering if any of you guys have any questions. If not, I will end the stream. So I will give you guys a little shout now. Any cues in the any questions before we end? Any questions before we end? Let's have a look. So I'm going to give you guys 30 seconds to come up with a question. So get typing. Go, 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 go. Tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock, tick, tock. 20 seconds. 10 seconds. Okay, great. All right, guys, we'll continue the conversation in the comments below. I really hope you guys join us in the Liftoff Professional Members platform. You go to the online extravaganza via Vimeo, and we keep this going. It's really great. It's fantastic seeing everybody chatting to each other there in the chat room. My heart is warmed every Friday afternoon, so thank you so much. And yeah, keep making films and keep sending stuff. Oh, here we go. Chikaphoto. Advice for filmmakers, writers during COVID. Yes. Keep consuming content that inspires you, and set a moment, Chikaphoto, set a moment in your daily life where you are concepting, where you are working on something else. So consume, say for example, you want to go on a mission to discover all of Stanley Kubrick's films. So set out a particular type of the evening and watch as much of the Vimeo, not Vimeo, as much of Stanley Kubrick's work as possible, and then try and find work that's slightly similar on platforms like Vimeo and consume some true indie content as well. And then just have an hour each day where you sit down, you have a nice cup of coffee or a cup of tea or whatever it is that you drink to chill and get inspired, and just type some ideas out. No pressure, just type some ideas, type some things, see what flows out, but keep consuming content and keep setting aside opportunities for you to just release the things that you have in your mind. And before you know it, a project will just suddenly flourish like a flower. It will just come out of that hard work you've put into the soil. You see the stem come through, and then the flower happens, and then that's it. You're on a project. That happens all the time. I try to stay away from doing that because I just the amount of, I mean, every single time we get films sent to us, I get inspired to make films. It's really infectious, and it's a great thing. But yeah, like we all know, films take over our lives, and if you want to come up with the goods, I definitely highly recommend you give that a shout. Okay, cool. So that's it. That's my advice for COVID-19. Oh, that was Natalie that asked that question. Sorry, Natalie. I thought that was Chica. Oh no, Chica's asked it, and then Natalie seconded it. Okay, fine. There we go. So yeah, Chica Photo, thank you very much for the question. Natalie, thank you for reminding me about the question. And thanks, guys. Yeah, hashtag flowers. Absolutely. Let's hope we get a garden. Take care, guys. Much love. Stay safe. Bye bye.